Okay, all right. Welcome back to another question. This time, it's a question about merge intervals. This is another array / sorting kind of question. This one is also kind of a popular technique. It reminds me of the question about the scheduling question, like scheduling meetings, where how many meeting rooms do you need at minimum given the schedules? And if you know that question, you know that's pretty popular and you might know what to do with this question. But let me just tell you the question first. So merge intervals. It says, given a collection of intervals, merge all overlapping intervals. So if we look at this input, we see 1 to 3, 2 to 6, 8 to 10, 15 to 18. So obviously these ones are overlapping, so we can merge them. And then this one is not overlapping with anything, and this one is not overlapping with anything. So we get 3 intervals, and then they are not overlapping, because at the end, you have to output something that they're not overlapping. Every time you overlap, you just merge them. Now you also have to remember that these are not always sorted, so you don't know that if they're sorted or not. And then let's look at the second example. Even if the number is exactly alike, for example, 4 and 4, you do merge them. So you merge these together and you'll get 1, 5. Cool. So that's pretty simple in terms of what the question is asking. But implementation, it could be kind of tricky. I'm gonna let you think a little bit. Okay, I'm glad you thought about it. So the solution to this is from what I think is the best is that we should sort it first, and then if we see overlapping, we merge them, and then while the other ones, if they're not overlapping, we create as new intervals. So let me kind of display, or let me get an example to kind of show you what it is. So let's just say, let's take a big example, okay? We're gonna have 1, 9, 2, 5, 19, 20, 10, 11. So I'm doing a big example so that it's a lot more clear and it hits a lot of different cases. 0, 1, 0, 2. Right, so we have, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. There's 8 elements here. So the first thing we want to do is sort them. Sort them according to their first number, which is the beginning of the number. It'll be pretty obvious why we do that soon, but I'll just sort it first. Maybe I should write a little bit smaller. Okay, so once it's sorted, we're gonna get something like this. 0, 3, 0, 1, 0, 2, 1, 9. So the first number is always sorted. So you're never gonna see a number that is here, the first number here is bigger than the first number there. That will never happen. Okay, 11, 12, 20, and then 19, 20. 19, 20. Okay, so I'm gonna do something to make it a lot easier to visualize. I'm gonna make a graph that starts at 0 to 20. So here would be 10, here would be 5, here would be 15. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna draw bars using all of these elements so that you can see them better. So 0, 3 is gonna be this element. And then you have 0, 1, you have 0, 2, you have 1, 9, and then 2, 5, 2, 5, and then 10, 11, 10, 11, and then 12, 11, 12 to 20, and then also 19, 20. Yeah, so I think you might know what we're doing. So obviously, as we go down, this is the order of our list. As we go down, I hope I'm recording. Let's double check. Okay, yeah, I am. So as we go down, we are going through the list. So as you can see, it's monotonically increasing the first bar. Yes, maybe the end might be sometimes larger or smaller or larger, but at least here, you can see that it's always monotonically increasing, right? Because it's sorted. That makes sense, right? Okay, so what we can do here is we realize that every time we start with one interval, we could look at the next one, and there's only two cases that's possible. Either there's only two cases that's possible. Either the front is not in the interval, or it is in the interval. So what happens if it is? So let's look at this one. If it is in the interval, we're just going to absorb it, and then we're going to create a new interval. So what happens is, let's make new intervals here. So imagine we have this. First, we have one interval. Like, let's have our output array to be this. Our first interval will be this, because we have nothing in there anyways, so that's the case. And then the second block that we look at, there's two cases. Either the beginning, the first interval, the beginning of the interval is within the interval that we have already, or it's not. If it is, then we just merge it. And how do we merge it? We just take the max of the end number. So here we have 3, here we have 1. So the bigger one is 3. So now we've merged these. We've already used these. And then the next one, same thing. The beginning is still within our interval. So because it's within our interval, we merge. So we merge this. And then because this one's smaller. And then again, is this beginning inside our interval? Yes, it is. It is inside our interval, so we merge. And then this time, when we merge, we just take the max of currently what our endpoint is versus the intervals, the new interval's endpoint. This time, this guy is new. So what would happen is that our new interval will be this. This will be our new interval. So now we still have just one interval in our output array. So we got this, we merged this, and then we take this one. This starting point is inside our interval, so we merge it. And then, yeah, that's it. And then we merged it. And then the next one is this one. Oh my God, finally. The beginning part is not in our interval. So what happens? We are finally going to make another interval. We could do this because it is sorted. Because it is sorted, you're never going to find another interval that's suddenly here. So what I mean is, like, now we are sure that there are no other interval that falls within, that the beginning falls within this interval because it's sorted. So you're only going to get bigger intervals in terms of the start point, like the larger number, right? So here we're going to create a new interval. Let's make this blue this time. We're going to create a new interval, right? And then we're going to look at the next one. Is this start point inside our interval, our latest interval? No, it's not. Okay. So that means we're going to create a new interval. And then we're going to check the next one. Is this one inside the interval? Yes, it is. And then which one is larger, the interval or my current interval in terms of the endpoint? And then this one's larger, or they're actually equal, so it's fine. So we'll end up with 3 interval. So it's similar to if we outputted 0, 9, and then 10, 11, and 12, 20. We're going to output these 3 numbers. All right, pretty simple, right? So what is the time complexity of this? Well, you have to first sort it. So because you have to sort it is n log n. And then what do you do later? You just go through one by one, which is O of n, but O of n is smaller than n log n. So the time complexity is n log n. And then in terms of the space complexity, let's see, we kind of sort it in place so it doesn't take any extra space. It depends if you take the output as extra space. So it's either constant or linear. So yeah, so if you allocate like space linearly for the new array, then that would be O of n. If you don't allocate a new array, then that's constant time. All right, let's check the code for it. So merge. So what we want to do first is we want to order it. We want to sort it by the first number, and the first number means the start number. So we have to define a function. Let's just call it take first. And then depending on what element it is, the element is basically just a tuple of 2 numbers, and we want to sort it based on the first number. So we're going to return the first number here. This function will be used to sort, right? If you're not familiar with Python, you should brush up on that. So okay, and then the resulting array will be an array of intervals that are not overlapping. So what we're gonna do is, now that the intervals are sorted, we are going to loop through all the intervals. And like I said before, there's two cases. Either the interval is not within the latest interval, so we don't need to merge, or we do need to merge and we're gonna merge the interval. So the first case is if the new interval is not in our interval. So if it's empty, so we just have to append it, or if the latest one, its ending number is actually smaller than the starting number of the new interval, right? If that's the case, then you're just gonna append, right? And then the other case is if we want to merge it. So that means we're gonna look at the last one, our last interval, and we're gonna take the max ending, the ending number of both. Okay, and then we're just gonna return the result, run it, interval, run it, and there you go. And if we submit it, we see if it's right. It is correct, perfect. So that's pretty much it for this question. And yeah, I hope you enjoyed this video. And yeah, make sure that whenever there's intervals, maybe try sorting them in the beginning and then try to solve it. I'm not sure if I already talked about the time complexity, but the time complexity here would be you sorted, so that means it's n log n because you already sorted, and then later on we just go through all the intervals, which is O of n, so that means it's n log n for time complexity. And then for space complexity, if you count the output array, then that would be O of n, because worst case scenario is that all the intervals are not merged, so then that's how much space you need. Cool, thank you.